Hello world, Shelly here, and let's talk May favorites and fails, shall we? Got a bunch of stuff in front of me, some of it's high-end, some of it's drugstore. Let's talk about it. Let's kick things off on a positive note. I've got a favorite lotion. I believe the first person I heard about this from was Rebecca over at Frugalista blog, and it's the Gold Bond Ultimate Radiance Renewal Cream Oil Lotion. It's got 3 different things: coconut, cocoa butter, and shea butter. And this, I've just started seeing TV advertisements for it. I'm about this far down my bottle right now. And I've been using this actually since probably January or so. And as I was gathering my favorites, I just happened to knock it over on my desk and I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever mentioned this before. It's a mildly exfoliating lotion and it's for visibly dry skin. I do have dry skin, especially my arms, my legs, and this stuff works great. It's a little bit of a thicker consistency, so it's not going to be something that you put on and it instantly absorbs into your skin and it's, vanishes like nothing. That's a pro and a con if you don't like the feeling of lotion. So you put this on, it feels substantial, and you're gonna feel it for a little while. So if you put it on your hands, it's not like it's gonna get all over everything, but you'll feel the sensation of having lotion on you. I like that because my skin is so dry, and I've been thoroughly enjoying this lotion. So thank you, Frugy Blog. Let's do a fail. This is from e.l.f. It is the Pore Refining Primer Mask. And it says, better than any photo filter in the App Store. Help minimize the appearance of pores and brighten skin to prep for flawless makeup application. So the idea is that you would wear this mask for 5 minutes before you apply your makeup. And nothing in all of my life has ever dehydrated my skin as quickly or as severely as this product. Now granted, anything that's pore minimizing tends to be designed for oily skin, and I've got normal to dry skin, so this probably wasn't targeted toward me, but at least for suffering through all of the dryness that it produced, it gave me 0 pore reduction. In fact, I wanted to mention that so much that I wrote it in Sharpie on the back of the mask so I would not forget to mention that not only did it totally dry my skin out, but I did not see any reduction in pores whatsoever. So this to me was a fail. Let's go back to a favorite. Last month I mentioned the Peter Thomas Roth Firm X peeling gel that's like yucky, gross, but really good that I love. I have a more reasonably priced alternative if you don't want to dump the cash on the PTR. This is from Skin Food. It is the Pineapple Peeling Gel. I've been using this, well, I bought it at the same time as I got the PTR, but I've been going back and forth between the two, so I've got about that much of it gone. And this is very similar in the overall, product approach. It's a sort of gel substance. You rub it all over your face in circular motions. It kind of drums up little bits of, I'm told that it's not dead skin, it's just the oils in your skin with the ingredients in the peeling gel. But I suppose you're supposed to think that it's all your dead skin coming off. Ugh, it's so gross. But this works really nicely. I do think that the PTR version is more deeply exfoliating, more thoroughly exfoliating, but this is also a little bit gentler, I think. So if that one's a little too strong for you or you don't want to dump that kind of money into it, check this one out. I have a few Skin Food products now and I've loved every one of them. The most recent one I think that made it into my favorites was their Egg White Pore Mask, which I love, still love to this day. Thought I turned my phone off. How about a fail? This is a lip product. This is from NYX. It is the Epic Ink. It's like a lip stain. They call it a lip dye. And holy cow, it's friggin' patchy. It's super drying. It has a gross texture on the lips. It dries down, but in the weirdest way. Ugh, look, it even looks gross on my hand. So, see how patchy. You don't ever get a smooth, even application because every time you go over a spot, you either pick up the product that was there before or you put down too much new product. There's no way to get this to apply evenly. It does not layer well on top of itself, so if you can't get a perfect swipe the first time, you're kind of screwed. And it totally stained my lips. So now I get that it's a lip dye, so it's probably going to stain anyway, like that's probably the point, but I did not like it at all. Yeah, it stains like crazy. So this is like immediately trying to get it off my hand. It wasn't even dry yet. Back to a favorite. I mentioned last month that I suspected these would become favorites, and they have. I'm in love with the Kat Von D Brow Struck Brow Powder. This is in the shade Walnut. I had said back last month that it was a little bit warmer toned than I like, but it has such a unique undertone to it. This is the shade intended for dark brown to black hair, and let me just swatch it here. Well, it looks totally brown on my freaking hand, but it's got this, I don't even know what to call it. It's a warmish, reddish. It's not the typical warm brown. It's got almost a deeper blood red undertone to it. You know, it really doesn't come across on my hand, but in my brows, that's what it does. I'm not wearing it today, but I absolutely love the undertone of this. And so even though it doesn't really match my hair, the odd thing is that sort of plum tint that my hair has from that last time I dyed it, this picks that up really nicely, and I'm just liking it. I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice brow powder formula. It stays in place. You can use it on its own to carve out a shape, and it's not going to get all muddy and transfer all over the place. I really enjoy it. I love her brush. Where did I put it? This brush, number 75, came out with her brow products, and you see these little notches in the hairs of the brush. It's perfect because it's a dense enough brush that you can use it to draw in a shape or to draw individual hairs if you want to. But if you dip your product into powder, you can also put it flat and drag upward, and those notches almost act like a spoolie, and they just fill your brows in super quick, super easily. This is the brow powder brush. I'm in love, absolutely in love with this brush. I've said this a couple times if you've caught it in previous videos. The thing I love about Kat Von D brushes is that I can tell that there's like research and development involved in how people use their products and what features would make a brow powder brush more simple to use, more quick to use, easier to use, etc. Same with I've had this in my favorites before, but her setting powder brush. This brush, it is the number 20. The reason I love this brush so much is because it splays out, poof. You see that? Like, poof. And it's cruelty-free and vegan. When you're applying it to your face, you can set your powder with a pressing motion so you're not moving the product around underneath. You can just tell that this was designed by someone who knows that we really want to be able to set with a pressing motion, but do it quickly and get a whole lot done at one time. And it's super, super, super soft. And, well, now I'm off on a brush tangent. But the other product from the Kat Von D Brow launch is the Signature Brow Pencil. I really like it. I also got this in the shade Walnut. The spoolie on the end is your typical nothing fancy spoolie. She didn't try to get all crazy with it. I appreciate that. I just want a standard good spoolie. And the tip is very reminiscent of like the NYX Microbrow or a Brow Wiz kind of a pencil. And a fail. This is from Neutrogena. It is the Hydro Boost Plumping Mascara. This doesn't plump anything. It doesn't give length. It doesn't give plump. It doesn't give anything. The first time I wore this, I think I felt like my lashes appeared that I had fewer lashes than I actually do. Zero additional length, no additional volume. I couldn't even see my lashes. Like, it was kind of a joke. My eye makeup was pretty bold that day and couldn't even see my lashes. But tried it a few more times, thought maybe if it was open for a little while, you know how some mascaras are better after they've had air in the tube for a week or so. Yeah, no good. This is like, if you want to turn your lashes invisible, there's your product. But on the favorite side of the fence, you guys know I was a fan of the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Lashes Mascara, the first volume. Well, there's a volume 2. Packaging looks just like the first one, except it says volume 2 on it. I love this stuff. And, you know, the reason volume 1 was not one of my ultimate favorites, my 2 favorite mascaras are the Urban Decay Perversion and the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir, which to me are very similar. I can't even really tell the difference side by side. The volume 1 of this mascara was a very, very wet formula, and I'm a very, very clumsy person, so I would get it all over the place. You'd have to be so careful not to get it, you know, not to like look down while your lower lashes were still wet and all that jazz. So I didn't use it that often because it was so tedious to get it right. This does not have that problem, but I feel like the overall look is nearly identical. It is a super black mascara. The wand just grabs every single hair. I'm actually wearing it today, and this is one coat of this mascara. One coat of it. Tried to stay a little bit light because I got a light-ish matte look going on, but this stuff, it builds beautifully, but it's kind of a, I want to say like a 60s retro look in terms of the way it gives volume. It's that cross between sort of clumping together at the base, but also giving that sort of spiky length. It's that retro-ish looking lash, and I really enjoy the look of it, and I really enjoy how well it stays. It does not flake off at all on me, and it's actually a little bit hard to remove at the end of the night. It's not waterproof, I don't think, but I absolutely love it. This stuff is great. And a fail. This one's not really a fail, more of a disappointment. I had wanted this palette when it came out, and I forced myself not to buy it because I'm not a huge fan of the Tarte eyeshadow formula. It just doesn't show up very well on me no matter what I do, but the colors looked so pretty. And then one of the makeup groups I'm in, someone was destashing it, and so I bought it from them, and I've used it a handful of times now. I'm talking about the Tartist Pro palette, and the color scheme is so right up my alley, or it looks like it should be right up my alley. You know, berry tones and some cool tones in here. It looks really pretty, right? But I've done probably 4 makeup looks with this palette, and every single time they don't turn out the way I expect. And I don't know if it's a problem with the way the colors look in the pan don't translate well on my eyes. It's slightly performance. I find that the mattes are kind of patchy and I have trouble getting them to blend where I want them to. It's just not living up to what I had hoped based on the color scheme that it looks to be in the... Oh, I'm sorry, my fingers... Owie. This was just kind of a bummer to me. It's not a fail. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't really recommend anybody run out and buy it. Okay, I have 2 more favorites. We will end on a high note. These are both higher end. They're both for the under eye area. So you guys, if you've been around for a minute or two, I had switched up my skincare routine and added some products last February from With Simplicity. That's one of their bags right there. I have some goodies in there I haven't tried out yet. And that really helped my skin go from being dry to really pretty much normal. And that's been awesome. But I still struggle with dry under eyes, and I've got dark circles in my under eyes. Now, I'm not wearing a ton of concealer today, so you can pretty well see my dark circles kind of out to play right now, and I've got 2 products that are helping. First is from Becca. It is the Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer. This is sort of a... I can't open it. Why am I clumsy so much? It's sort of a pressed gel. It doesn't really come off, you know, you just have a very light sheen of product on your finger. It's got a little bit of slip to it. And so when you apply it under the eyes, it kind of very nicely fills in any of those little crepey lines in your under eye. It really smooths them out. And this is my favorite thing to just smooth my under eye. The first time I tried this, I went on Snapchat with my bare face and just this on to show one eye versus the other on how smooth this is. If you don't follow me on Snap, you should. And I just really like it. Now, I have another product under my eyes, and it tends to work best if it's a one or the other kind of a thing. This is from Tatcha. It is the Pearl. This is the lightest shade. I think it's called Moonlight. Yes. And first off, I had so much trouble figuring out how to open this thing because this looks like a button. Like it looks like you're supposed to press it or slide it or something. No, you don't. This whole thing just screws off the top. Ta-da! So this is like it looks like a gel and it looks really dark, but don't panic. It's not super dark and it's got that perfect sort of apricot undertone to it. So I put it on my knuckle. That's a good job, Shell. And so when you first apply it, it starts to look like it's breaking up. And you're like, what the heck? This is all over the place. Wow, making a mess. And you're like, confused, right? But then just go in and tap, 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 pat it in. And what happens is you get this really, really pretty smoothness that has color correction built into it. Oh, look at that. Look how young my hand looks. It's got some color correction to it, which my hand obviously doesn't need, but you get that color correction and then you get this beautiful, but not, it's kind of subtle, but it's there. It's this brightening. So it's like if you're not going to use concealer, you can actually still wear this underneath and it's not going to look like a strange color. It just does a really nice job at smoothing everything out and giving that sort of brightness and awakeness and canceling out some of the shadows of your dark circles. I don't think they play very well together. I feel like once I've got the Becca primer down, this doesn't want to absorb. And if I do it the other way around, I feel like applying the Becca primer on top of this kind of moves this around and then it's not even coverage. So I don't use them together. I go with one or the other. This one I think is more smoothing. This one I think is more brightening and shadow canceling. So if I'm super tired and super dark under my eyes, I go with the Tatcha. If I'm not super dark under my eyes, I go with the Becca. I am loving them both. And is that everything? Those are my favorites and my fails for the month of May. If you enjoyed favorites and fails, give me a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hang out for Foundation MegaFest coming up June 8th to the 22nd. I will have 15 days in a row of foundation reviews. So if you like my foundation reviews, stick around for that. They will all post at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.